Welcome back to the broadcast. Well, thanks to social media, our circle of friends has become a mile wide, hasn't it? And at the same time, these relationships can sometimes feel paper thin, almost superficial. So how do you keep the power of friendship the real deal? Dr. John Townsend has tips from his recent book. It's called How to Be a Best Friend Forever. Welcome back, Dr. Townsend. Thank you so much for being here.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah. So you're going to share some top tips with us of how to keep our friendships feeling real instead of superficial in our busy social media driven lives.
Yep. First one is you've got to be vulnerable. You know, when people get together, the first thing they want to talk about is, weather and kids, and we all have to go over that. But the long-term friendships that the research talks about last until you're 9 years old or when you're vulnerable. You talk about struggle. You talk about things that are difficult. You ask for help. And people feel privileged. They feel like, goodness gracious, I'm in the inner sanctum. I'm not just kind of another person casually passing the day with you. I really know how your struggles are, and people feel very valued.
Same for men and women? Sorry. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, we're kind of different than you guys.
Yeah. Really?
Well, yeah, big secret, right? You guys are kind of ahead of the curve from us on relationships. We're kind of better with aggressive and tasks and tools and that sort of thing. So men sort of have a harder time being vulnerable. And so what happens to happen, I think men need to learn from their wives. Like, what is this thing called talking again? Women tend to naturally open up and say, it's been a hard thing with my kids, or we had a struggle in the job or whatever. And men kind of want to go more towards answers. Well, here's 3 perfect answers for your life.
Right.
And
here's how you can fix it.
Yeah.
I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen.
I just want you to listen to me, right.
Well, and that was going to be my question. When you talk about friendships, clearly that can apply to relationships with your significant other, because the second you said that, I was like, I know someone who could benefit from that advice.
Yeah.
So definitely, right?
Communication is key.
I mean, it really is. And there's no substitute for time. People always talk about, well, we don't have a lot of time together, but it's quality time. That's a little bit like saying, I went to the restaurant and ate 1 bite of filet. I'm not going to make it all day with 1 bite of filet. It's quality time and quantity time. So what I've had to do in the book is I talk to people about either significant others or spouses or just friends. You can't be a drive-by. You can't say, well, I'll see you when I see you. It was great at Starbucks. See you when I do. Because you won't. We're busy people. We got kids and activities. You have to structure it.
Make time.
And you have to say, I'll commit to every other week we'll have coffee or lunch.
Right.
And then people go, oh, I need that too because I'm busy. So the structure really helps.
Well, can you sprinkle in some social media there to sort of like, because I know like my girlfriends and I, we text a lot.
Absolutely.
And not that should be, an excuse not to have face-to-face time, but it's certainly a way that we can touch base.
Social media is wonderful. When I was writing the book, one of my kids' girlfriends was saying, I think I'm an addict to this. And I said, what are you talking about? She says, well, I'm texting to my girlfriend across the room.
Yep.
I said, that's probably a problem.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Really bad.
But I like the word you said, sprinkle. As long as the cart's not before the horse. The cart is, the social media. The horse is the face-to-face relationship or a phone relationship. But I think Facebook's great. And I think texting's great because they do kind of keep you connected because people are so busy.
They are. Yeah, but I still have to go back to the old, let's sit down, let's have lunch, let's look at each other in the face.
There's no substitute.
And because it's voice, it's eye contact, it's mannerisms, all those things speak to the heart outside of texting.
Right, right. Well, plus, with text, it's technically called non-synchronous. I can't say, I can interrupt you, with texting. And with voice, it's kind of like, what'd you say? And back and forth. And the back and forth engagement is so powerful. So text is sort of a support system for the other stuff.
What do you say in your book about seasons of friends and how friends change over time?
They do. You'd love to say that my BFF from the time I was 6 is my BFF at every age. But people leave and they move and some of them pass away or sometimes kind of like people's lives change. But my experience is that everybody needs what I call a life team. And a life team is somewhere between 3 and 7 people that are on your speed dial. I mean, I've got them on mine. So that 3 a.m. friend when things are kooky and you can call them and they're on mine. And sometimes one leaves or whatever, then you got to replace them. But if everybody's got that life team of at least 3 people, those seasons pass by just fine. And you sort of like move in and out with that.
Yeah, I've gone through times where my team is real small and then other times when it's larger. And so it kind of ebbs and flows a little bit too.
And siblings, of course, can benefit from this book as well, well, right? Because we
Oh,
go
yeah.
through all of this, the ups and downs and the seasons. And my sisters are certainly on my team. I can't live without them. So.
Yeah, and your sisters know about your parents.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly.
They say,
And they
okay, I
understand
know your
me.
background.
And they can't get rid of me, which is really awesome.
You
So.
can't divorce your siblings.
Exactly.
Well, these are wonderful tips, and you're going to stick around with us for the next hour, right? And we're going to talk about marriages and how those seasons change and how
Yes.
we can sort of like reignite passion and things like that when you're an empty nester. So we're going to have more with Dr. John Townsend later in the show. His book, by the way, is How to Be a Best Friend Forever, and some fantastic tips. Thank you for reminding us how important it is to get that face-to-face time and how to put our relationships first. Okay, more with Dr. Townsend later in the show. And coming up next, our tech mom breaks down some great back-to-school gadgets that'll help make your child's life a little easier. We all like that.